In this lesson we will talk about Vray Sky. This is a map used for environment in Vray, and although it works in pair with Vray Sun, I will show in a second how it works. I would like to discuss about it apart so we can better understand what is an environment in Vray and how we can use the environment for our interior projects. In the previous lesson we talked about HDRIs, and you can see here our Vray light dome. It's also a form of environment in Vray, and here we loaded our map. So first of all, you can see that if we delete the light dome, we have no environment, or we have no light. Well, we got some details there, but we have no light. Now let's delete the HDRI, the previous HDRI, and let's use the Vray Sky. It works very like HDRIs, and you can find it here in Vray Rollout, Vray Sky. Before we will load our Vray Sky, I would like first to talk about what is an environment in 3ds Max and Vray. And let's go to the lights so we can see how it works first of all. Then we will talk about what is an environment step by step. So if we'll go to lights from Vray, we talked about Vray lights, but here we have the Vray Sun. So this is the way that we will usually use this Vray Sky and Vray Sun. They work in pair. I'll put our sun in front of our camera so we can see it, and the sky as well. And next you can see here a window appear, and it asks if we would like to add an environment map. So if we add the map, we are actually adding the Vray Sky. It is automated. So let us start the render so we can see what we obtained. The Vray light dome, you can see we have the white light there. The Vray light dome is still active. That's why we will have to delete it. After that only we will see our Vray Sun and the Vray Sky. Our sun is set parallel to our Earth. So as we increase the position of our sun, we are changing the time of the day. So in this case we have the sunset. But if I will raise the sun a bit up, you can see the day changes. So we can change the time of the day and position of the light and the shadows as well. This is very important, especially for exterior. And now you can see the Vray Sun and Vray Sky, how they work together. We usually set the sun and the light in front of our objects on a 45-degree angle. Now if we will go to rendering, you can see here the environment. Or you can press 8 as well, and you can see here written Vray Sky. We also got an environment in Vray. We will talk about that a bit later. This is why I've showed how the sun and Vray Sky work together. Now we will delete our sun, and I would like to explain the environment first, and then in the next lesson we will talk about our Vray Sun. It will be actually a lot more simple to restart our scene. So we will get back to our previous step where we had our HDRI. I'll start the render so you can see what we got here. Now, as we saw how the Vray Sun and Vray Sky work together, this is the way how we usually apply that in our scene. Let's actually delete that and start from the first step. I would like first to explain what is an environment in 3ds Max and Vray. You can see here in rendering we can press 8, or we can choose the environment that we got here, the environment map. Also we can change first of all the color. This is a more simple way to do that. We can simply change the color of our environment. If I'll switch from the camera view, you can see that we got the exact color from here. Camera, it's actually using its settings. This is actually the most simple environment that we can use for our scene. We will not use the color of course, but this is the most simple one. Next we can use a map, so we can use either a Vray Sky or we can use an HDRI. Let's get back a bit to our Vray light dome. First of all, the Vray light dome acts also as an environment in Vray. So as you saw, when we loaded our Vray Sun and Vray Sky, the Vray light dome was shining or overriding the effect of the sun and sky. So after we deleted the dome, we could see the effect of our sun and sky. That's why we will have first to delete the HDRI so we can have the free slot for our Vray Sky, and we have our white light of our simple dome. Now let's load our Vray sky here in this dome, and we switch to our Vray physical camera. You can see the effect of the sky here. Only the sky, we don't have the sun. Let's delete for now our Vray light dome, and let's talk about this environment from 3ds Max. If I'll load in this slot of 3ds Max environment the Vray sky, you can see here in the camera that we actually got the same effect like we had with our Vray light dome. The map, our Vray sky map, acts the same. We already talked about the settings of our Vray light dome, so now let's see how it actually interacts with our Vray sky. It's almost the same like we had with our HDRI, but let's see how this interacts or impacts our render. So you can see that first we got the option of lock texture to icon. Our HDRI got texture, but our sky, it's almost the same all around. So now if I'll go back to our camera and I will try to rotate it, I'll rotate the sky, you can see that we got almost no change there. It is simulating the sky, of course, but it's simulating the sky using only the colors. Next, let's get to the materials, and I would like to show how we can have access to some of the features of Vray sky. If you remember, we copied our Vray HDRI into this slot. We will have to do the same thing here, like instance. Now you can see here the sky. You can see here a button specifies sun node. This specifies how the Vray sky determines its parameters. When it's off, the Vray sky automatically takes its parameters from the active Vray sun that was created last. We can have, by the way, a few suns in our scene. If it's on, a different light source can be chosen, and it is recommended to use only direct lights, as the vector of the direction is taken into consideration when computing the appearance of the sky. In that case, the Vray sun is no longer controlling the Vray sky. You can see here the sky model. We got 5 types of skies. This specifies the procedural model used to generate the Vray sky texture. Well, keep in mind this is usually a gradient. So we have 5 types, you can see them, and we will stick with the last one. This is a Vray sky procedural texture. It is generated based on this algorithm, and this method has the enhanced sunrise and the sunset sky. Well, it's the best. And next we have a few options that we can also control. So first of all, we have the intensity multiplier, but as we did in the previous lesson, you saw that changing the intensity starts to impact our photorealism. So the horizon offset offsets the horizon from the default position, the absolute horizon. And the blend angle controls the size of the gradient formed by the Vray sky. Keep in mind this is a gradient, these are colors. So the blend angle shows, you can see in the render, shows the interaction between the blue sky and this strip, and we can control the blending between them. And this gradient formed by the Vray sky between the horizon and the actual sky. I'll increase this number and you can see in the render how it impacts. It starts to blend between that blue color and this strip, sunlight. This is another feature. This specifies which light source is chosen if the specified sun node is on. We also got here a few functions. They refer to the Vray sun parameters. We will talk about them in the next lesson. Next we got our ground color. You can see we have here a gray, but we can specify any color, and you can see in the render how it changes. And you can see here as well a function indirect horizon illumination. This specifies the intensity of the illumination on horizontal surfaces coming from the sky, but we will leave it as default as well. These are the Vray sky properties, and we will look at the Vray sun in the next lesson, but keep in mind the Vray sun and Vray sky work in pair, and we will usually use the HDRI and the Vray sun. I will show that in the next lessons.